Hey guys, Hawk here. I'm going to try to get through this in one take, mainly because the details are a lot easier to see when I don't have to run it through my editing software. For some reason, it comes out the other side looking like trash. So for now, this is going to be one long take. I apologize for that in advance. But let's get to moving on this. This is my build Somber song. It's been a very long project. But we'll go over all of that in due time. This is going to be a long video. I'm sitting here with 4.5 boxes full of things just for this blaster, and I do want to go over all of them. But this is the first build log that I have in this, so I want to start from scratch. So I should probably go in chronological order, tell you what this is, but I think this is the most interesting portion of this entire build. So I'm going to start with this. So this is a honeycomb structure. It is going to go onto the back battery door on the HyperStryfe portion back here. And this is an inlay. It's a poorly printed inlay, but it is an inlay. And it's going to sit like this inside of this bin, inside of here, like this. So I'm going to cut out this, much like I've done here, which we'll go over in a minute. And this will sit in there. So this is going to be cast in kind of like an aqua color, is what I'm thinking. I just got some new resin to try to do a better color that I want, but these will be transparent blue, light blue, and I have some LEDs that are going to shine through all of these parts and hopefully be cool. The pistons themselves reciprocate about 6 millimeters or so, and what's special about these guys is having a kinetic sculpture on the side of your blaster is not a great idea if you want it to last for any amount of time, because you put something on the side of your blaster, you put your hand there, you put it down upside down, I mean, this thing's going to snap like a twig, right? The only thing is I got a spring in there, so even though I'm not rotating this, it's spring loaded. So there's two mechanical key switches. There's springs. They're in there. You can actually kind of see it through the plastic. They're gold plated. So there's the inner sleeve and the piston head itself. This is the arm, and that has a ball bearing that's been pressed into it. It's another ball bearing on this side. Those are pins that are holding them together, and this is on a camshaft on ball bearings as well. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of those in something like this. They're all going to be connected together. I think this fits in here. Yeah, I haven't even touched it, but this fits in there like that. So these will all be connected. These will all be connected. And then the plan is, this is the part that I don't know if it works yet, but I'm going to put little receivers on here for geared tooth belts. Again, excuse me. So this is about as small as they realistically make. I think they make 5 millimeter, but this is 6 millimeter. I need half of that. So I spent some time. This is a cheaper belt. I got off of a Ender 3 I got from my friend Ivan. And it's obviously not working. But this is the belt I'm probably going to really use. One of my friends told me that there was a brand name belt that they use for all the good stuff, and so naturally I went with that. And you can actually see quite a big difference. It's kind of funny. I don't want to get too far into this, but there's like barely any reinforcement in this, this entire thing, that is going to last a very long time. I don't think I actually need that. It might actually be too stiff. I don't think there's much of a difference, but it could be too stiff because I had to make this today. It's my first splice, but I'm pretty happy with it. Not bad for just ripping that clean in half. I'm shooting for 3mm, and I pretty much nailed it. I just kind of eyeballed that, so pretty happy with this. I was just a test piece though, that's some contact cement, but I need to make quite a few of these because these are what's going to hold these little things in place here. It's actually easier if I clip this back on. Plus, I just did this a couple hours ago, and I want to let it sit overnight. But so this guy is going to fit over here, and then you'll have another one over here, and then another one over here, and then those will connect all of the shafts all the way down. So all I have to do is power one of these, and hopefully the rest of these will start moving. I know that these belts are going to add a lot of play to it. There's nothing I can really do about that. I was going to have a worm gear, but I just don't have the height this way. I have like no height this way because this is going into here. And so the battery compartment's back here. And this is going to be a brushless build, so I need a big battery. At least I want a big battery. So this is kind of the end of talking about this. I have an inlay here, but I think I'm going to go over this. Well, I guess I'll go over this now because it's pretty relevant, but one of these little pieces here needs to be shaped better. They both kind of do need to be fixed a little bit, but that fits in there like that. So that will be lit up with LEDs, which we'll go over later, but there'll be a strip of LEDs along this. And then there's two things here, and those are for, I need to be careful here because I don't want to lose it. These are for gold contacts that are really small, but they fit into here. I have a little lip, I have a little bit of a lip there, so I shouldn't lose it. But it sits in there like that. And you have two of those, and then the positive and negative will be soldered to this side. It'll just be glued in place. And then when I put, let me get rid of this before I lose it, because I am going to lose it. Then when you put all of that into the door, and then this goes in here, like that, those contacts will be right about there. And I have these are super official. They're from DigiKey. Look, they're from 2 different lots, so they put them in 2 separate bags. That's how serious they are with these things. Fully tracked and stuff, even though I don't technically need all that stuff. I don't remember what brand these are. There's that, if you give a crap. So these are spring-loaded contact pins. And they should be able to handle my amperage and stuff. It's not much. But they're gold-plated. And these will sit... hold on. So these will sit inside of here like this. And they will make contact... with those pads. So in theory, when you have all those LEDs lit up and then you take the battery door off, it just turns off. There's no wires to deal with, it's all wireless. Take it off, it goes away, which is the same concept that I'm using for this. So there'll be contacts probably right here and right here. And then when I close it, the motor will automatically start, makes connection, and the LEDs, I guess. So there's probably going to be like 3 wires there or something. And then, yeah, that's the whole concept of this whole system. So I think we're going to move on, and I think I'm going to move straight on to what I probably should have started with. So I guess this would be a different section. I'm still trying to get used to stuff like this. I'm trying to make this video do a little bit better on this video. But all right, so what body work have I done? So starting out, this is a HyperFire stock, and this piece right here, and then this is a Stryfe, a little bit old school, but I am an old school modder. This is actually a couple weeks ago was the 10-year anniversary of the first blaster I ever made. So I wasn't doing Nerf for pretty much the entire in between there. Work, life, I'm an adult. It took its toll, but I wanted to come back at least one more time for one more blaster. I've made another blaster a little bit in between there, but it was only one, so yeah. The epoxy sculpt is no longer used. I stopped using that several blasters ago because I heard that pieces were popping off. I've never experienced that, but if you do flex it or maybe something lands on it, it could pop off one of those chunks. So I don't use that anymore. This is all DevCon, which is I'm gonna butcher this, but methyl methacrylate. It's MMA adhesive. You have to be careful. Just get DevCon. DevCon for plastic. That one works. But it works a little bit differently from normal epoxy, where it's just kind of adhering two surfaces together. This is actually making like a chemical weld, it's actually welding it together. I don't know what to say. I don't know the technical terms, but if you put some on there and then you wipe it away like 10 seconds later, it'll actually eat at the surface. Like it eats away at the surface. So it's actually bonding those two elements together, and it's flexible. They actually add a chemical similar to this to ABS when they're injection molding it. That's how you get a transparent ABS. But yeah, so this is really strong. This is not going anywhere. Chunks like this took forever because it bubbles up in really thick coatings. It's not really meant for that. So this took me like 30 hours. I actually just made a cutting guide. So this took me like probably about 3 weeks to get the integration lines where I wanted them. This took me an hour and a half. I made cutting guides, and I made those by getting both of these blaster 3D scanned. So there is some money involved in this. So these files are available on my website. You get little inserts like this, so you can just pop them in there, and they're way easier to finish up and sand. You can see I haven't quite sanded this guy down, but I mean, it's easy to run a file over that. So yeah, it comes with a little thing back here, so you can put a voltmeter here, or it actually comes with the step file for the plate inside of here. But all of these are meant to be like your first step into an integration, or maybe you're familiar with integrations and you just want to try out a cutting guide. It's actually a lot of fun, especially if you know what you're doing with integrations. This was a blast to build, especially since it went so fast. But there's 2 plates, one on either side, and then they grip a plate in the middle. So you can still take this apart. Everything's nice like that, the quality that you would expect from something that you're buying. So yeah, that supports the website. That supports, because it is a monthly fee, and I don't sell anything. So if you do want to support me, that's probably going to be the easiest way to do that. And I would love to see your take on this. So obviously I've also did the Talon Claw integration I made a couple years ago. These are 3D printed in ABS. Everything that you see that's integrated is ABS if it's 3D printed, and the layer lines don't really matter. They're going this way. So it's keeping these two halves together, I guess, with more reinforcement. It's fully integrated, but you know, it doesn't hurt. But these would have to crack this way, and I've reinforced them now, kind of unintentionally. So this is not breaking. This will break long after this snaps. So the teeth have been removed, which I don't actually think I've seen anyone do before. I might be wrong about that, but did a little notch in there as well. So these are a lot more clean. I think that's a lot more tolerable. Got rid of some details, the triangles down here. Things like these I filled in. I didn't fill this one in just because I'm removing this whole thing. There's going to be a window here. But all of these little greeblings, all these guys are all gone. There we go. Some more up here. So yeah, I've gotten rid of all of these greeblings. Just simplified it a little bit. Cleaned up some of the lines. I've been going ham with the panel liner, and I know I need to be careful because I don't want to over panel line this. Little things like this would normally curve down. I made it now go straight all the way to this. I had to keep the curve up a little bit, actually. This is 1mm, it tapers down. Not sure I like that, so I'm probably going to bring that 1mm line all the way down. But this line right here didn't exist before, wrapping all the way around to the other side. Mainly for paint separation and my own satisfaction, because I'm going to put quite a bit of paint on these, and you're probably barely going to see them. But I'll know they're there, and it's a good way to keep my lines clean, I think. So, extended this over here, built this up. This is ABS sheeting. I think I have some ABS sheeting, 60mm, or 60mm, 60 thou. And I just DevCon them on there. So all of this is held together with DevCon. There's not a drop of anything else. This is completely been flattened. Then I remove the corners. Chipped off the corners. Squared that up a little bit. Believe it or not, there is actually a little extra material there. And if you try to put this in a normal strife, it will not go just by that much. So put the corners back inside of here with that same ABS sheeting. Made sure I had a little bit of gaps so paint will be okay. And then I added these panel lines. I think they came out okay. Want to put one right here actually, because I want to extenuate. I want to exaggerate this line right here. I might actually paint that. But I extended these lines back after I filled this in. Gotta emphasize these. This side, actually I have to grab another stripe. Man, I've taken everything out of this box. This isn't in line. I'm not sure why. It's almost like the engineers got confused. But this side is straight. It's almost like they just took this side and squished it down, and when they did, they messed up. This like chamfer wasn't done properly, so it like tracked weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into this, but that bothered me. So I filled it in and then rescribed the line so that it's straight. That might be a little bit weird. I'm getting into a lot of detail with this flasher, but all these little things like this, like you think are something, are not. It's subsurface, but that's all been filled in. The red stuff is like a micro crack filler, so like that. You won't see that. It's just ghosting from the injection molding. It's how it flows in there. Interesting stuff. But yeah, so I probably have like 200 hours into this body work, so that's a little obsessive. But I've been doing it mostly on Wacom's Discord server, Fuzzy Walrus Industries, just like in the chat talking to people here actually. So I think I've streamed in there, whether someone's there or not, who knows. It's usually only a few anyway. But I've probably streamed like 70% of this process on there. So moving on to the next system. I know this is already a 20-minute video, so I apologize. But it's the first build log, and I'm several years in this project, so what do you want to do? Let's talk about the major components here. So these are probably broken up into 3 different components. The phase 1, the phase 2, and the phase 3, or at least that's how important they are. This is like, what do I need to actually make this blaster shoot a dart? The next one is I want to do like brushless controls and stuff like that. I want to make my own custom Arduino and stuff like that. So I know nothing about that, so that's a huge project. But the one I'm probably going to skip to is like the LEDs and the aesthetics and the stuff that really doesn't matter. So first one is these. These fit. I guess I needed this blaster back faster than I thought. It's almost like it's about the blaster. So these fit in there like, I need to get this out of here. These fit in there like this. So you can see why it's kind of important that I don't have a bunch of room here. These are remarkably thin for what they are. These are 2S batteries. I'm going to put them in parallel series. I can't remember which one, but it's going to output 4S and 2,200 milliamps. So they're okay. I don't need anything crazy though. I'm not looking for any records, but that's a really big battery, and it's only, I think it's like 15 and a half or something. Yeah, like 15 and a half, 16 millimeters. We'll call it 16. It's probably best for lipos, but I don't have that much room, and I think I'm gonna have to blow out the back of this case. I don't want to, but I think I'm gonna have to. Maybe I'll beef up this layer here so it's not pressed right up against the outside of the shell, but I'd really like to not do that. Hopefully I have enough room. Even if I have to bump the inlay up a little bit, maybe I'll do that. I think that's going to be a good way of cheating. It's not going to be flush and cool like this one, but I think it'll be moving anyway, so it'll be acceptable. So these are the batteries that I'm using. Again, going brushless. This was just testing a scar. It's brushed, but this was just testing a scar concept. These are not normal scar bearings. They're very, very small bearings. Actually, the same ones that are in those pistons. It works pretty well. I have some new theories. I still believe that I've always believed in the canting. Just takes a little more fine tuning is all. Worker stuff is way too canted. Don't ever get that. But anyway, so that was a adventure trying to design one of these cages. I don't think I actually have the cage with me because I gave it to my friend because he was going to machine it. I'm not sure if he's going to do that anymore, but I might actually be able to make this out of 316 stainless. And I actually want that heavier chunk of metal in the front because I've already shortened this thing, and I'm putting a really heavy battery in the back, and I want this thing to be as balanced as possible. So if anything, I need more weight up here. But in any case, it's using Kelly motors. I'm not going to bother taking screw it, taking everything else out. So it's going to be powered by Kelly motors. Making a custom cage, canted. Hopefully it has a B-car in it of some variant, but that is a 5-axis part, and I don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on that. So that might not happen. I might have to cast it out of resin. We'll see how it goes. I have little bits and bobs, like these are the gold bullet connectors that I'm going to be using. This is the wire that I'm going to be using. So these are actually pretty cool because it took me forever to find these things, but they're actually rated, actual gold plated. These are actually made by a company, Took me forever to find them, but they're really, really nice. Very nice parts. Definitely made on like a Swiss machine or something. They're beautiful. So, that's Teflon wire. Silver coated copper. 16 gauge. Took forever to find this too. I kind of ripped apart a solenoid. This is too big. It fits in there, but it's kind of bigger than I wanted. So I'm going to try to make my own. I have some parts that I want to get made. I have some theories, but I think I can make this smaller. So that's something that I at least wanted to try. I think that's pretty much it for the main. This is all Kelly stuff. His board. I'm not going to try to butcher anything because I know very little about this, but I want to get into it. I still haven't powered any of these motors on. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I should just jump into and get to it. That's what I'm learning about these more software type stuff, is I just have to do it. But that's for another day after I'm done with this, I think, the bodywork. So I'm going to try to move a little bit faster here. Respect your time. But we got a bunch of knickknacks and parts in here. This is more of like testing, playing with Arduinos. I have more Arduino stuff somewhere else. But starting to gather components, these are like secondary systems. There's some screens that we have here. Those are OLED screens, white text, and I thought it was a little small at first, especially for where I'm trying to put it. I'm trying to put it right here, but it turns out these are like double the resolution of, I think, of the, forgive me, this is going to be an old reference, but the FDL3s. So it fits perfectly. I can't ignore that. It's white text on it, so that's pretty cool. Also, these are like the cheapest ones you can possibly buy. This format has been done so much in China that this bag of 5, I think, was like $13 or $14, which is just wild. So if something does go wrong, if one of these do break, it's not that big of a deal, just because they're so cheap. Yeah, so some stuff in here I don't want to talk about, but I got some things going on. So next up is probably the one I'm going to skip to, which is the stuff I really don't need. This is like the LED strips. So these are, I think they're just under 3 millimeters. 2.5-ish. LED strips. These are light blue. Turn them on in a second. The copper. So these do get a little bit warm. They're very, very bright, and they're 12 volt. So they get really warm. And I have copper, half round, half flat. I think this is like 4 millimeter. Yeah, 4 millimeter. And so the idea is, I already tested this, but the idea is that I'll stick these two pieces together like this, and then you have a copper heatsink that's going to kind of, hopefully, prevent your LEDs from burning up. At least make them last longer. So these LEDs are really, really bright. Again, the resin parts are going to be like an aqua, similar to this color. The camera's adjusting, but it does kind of blow out the room. It is a little hard to look at. I'm sure it's going to be fine underneath resin, but it is actually a little hard to look at. When I turn this off, it actually like resets your vision. Like everything looks warmer. So they're very, very bright. I love these LEDs. Going to be all throughout as much as I can. Gonna try to put those heat sinks in as many places as I can. I wanted 2 different colors. So this is, I made sure that this was Teflon. This is not PVC, I believe. It might be PVC. No, this one's PVC. I think this is the one that I ended up saying I wasn't going to use, but I'm not 100% sure about this. Sorry, I have so many components to this build, and I haven't made all my decisions yet, but this is something that I might use. PVC coated by the look of it. I think this is 26 gauge. Hold on. 300 volts, yes. Wow, it's really hard to read white on clear. This is stupid. Why are they doing this? I have no idea. It's a smaller gauge. It's gonna be for just like the LEDs and stuff like that. I want the inside to look, you know, kind of cool. So any data lines, I'll probably do that as well. Here's some more brushless stuff, but this is out of different projects. So not really the same setup that I'm going with. I was thinking about using these. These are Cyan Cree LEDs brand. These are real brand name LEDs. They're like, I think these are 1 or 3 watts. 3 watts. These are the 3 watt ones. Man, these things are bright. They get really hot. They would need a heat sink for sure. They get really, really bright. It's crazy how bright these things are. 4 of these light up a lightsaber. I know they do NeoPixels now, but like the glow from the hilt ones, it's like 4 of these things light up the entire thing. So these things are like ridiculously bright. But it turned out to be a little too much. It was starting to be concerning about other things. Oh, I also have like connectors here. Want to make everything quick disconnect, stuff like that. Make it a little bit more professional. And then the last thing I'm talking about here, I guess we've pulled out everything from this bin already. But I make resin parts. So I wanted to explain that just a little bit. None of these parts are going to be the color that I'm going to be putting into it. These aren't the actual, excuse me, these aren't the actual parts. I need to get some water, I think. These aren't the actual parts that I'm going to be using. But similar process, same material. Start with those 3D prints. It's a little tricky because they inhibit the curing of most silicone molds. And you make little molds like this. So this mold was this piece right here. So you can see everything's been changed just a little bit. I prefer the button, not only because there's something down here, that's actually not the reason. I don't like levers because the engaging starts here and then you have to like move it so long. I know that's really dumb, but this is more of like a button, and I really like that short stroke. So I've always preferred the button, but I made this custom piece here. Nice and smooth. This piece, sorry, I don't like the Boba one, but it's like all the way out here, and the hook is so long, it interferes with this finger right here. So this one's much shorter. You can choke right up on it. You got knurled face on the trigger. Oh, I guess this is the time to sponsor. These are for sale on Adeline, not this particular color. If you want this set, hit me up, I guess. I'm thinking about selling it. I might keep it for a little while longer, so don't get your hopes up. But these other colors I sell in, and I do take custom orders if you want to contact me. But really nice detail out of these parts. And the only logo branding I put on this was my logo right there. It's a little dusty, I apologize. But I wanted it to keep it nice and subtle. This is a Picatinny rail. You might get a few bubbles down here, which I'm not super happy about, but I can't get rid of them. I think I have an idea, so I might try a generation 2 of this mold. But yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. In any case, this is the Shorty jam door. It's for when you cut this down. This goes in there right here. It's a nice little magnetic thing, this little piece. fits in to this slot right here. It's really nice. You don't have to glue it in or anything. It just retains itself. These are N52 magnets. Certified. Yes, I did get them more expensive. Has a very, very nice snap to it when you close the jam door. It's really nice. Oh, as I throw it. Got a nice face knurling here. I know that's not what it's called, but whatever. And then I make different colors and stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I don't know why you're still watching, if you're here. But yeah, thank you, I guess, for sticking around. Hit the bell. That stuff really does help. This is probably going to be my last Nerf project, but I at least wanted to make a video because I think most people view it either this way or on Instagram. Probably more on Instagram, to be honest. But I did want to bring it back a little bit and make a log, a patented Hawkeye log that kind of sucks, and there's not a whole lot of keeping up with the project properly. But I always want to put the project first. I never want to be bogged down by things like this, which is probably why I'm not going to edit this video, to be perfectly honest. I'm trying to do a little bit better. I have reshot this whole video like 3 times, so I am trying to do a little bit better. But I think this video is better than my last one, so I'll be content with that, I guess. Let me know what you think about this blaster. Let me know what you think about the build. I will say I'm not taking any suggestions. I've had quite a few people over the years try to make suggestions for it, and it's just not that kind of build. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if it looks stupid, or if you like it, or if you even know what these blasters are. I'd be curious to hear every aspect all the way down the ladder, because this has really reminded me how much fun this is to do. And I'm having a ball doing this. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.